Hello, welcome to a book in 5 minutes. I'm Lindsay Milner. This week's book is called Flow by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. And it's a key concept that crops up in a lot of books on happiness and on success and how to achieve your goals in life. In fact, the only reason I can have a stab at pronouncing his name is because a lot of books actually sort of spell it out phonetically, so that I've read it so many times that I've learned how to say it. There's some tough love in this book. Some harsh is maybe too harsh a word, but some sort of home truths type wisdom in this book. One of the things that he says is that books can't give you a recipe for happiness. And I must admit, I think I'm a little bit guilty of expecting this sometimes, because if it's got pragmatic steps, if it's got practical things that you can do to improve your life, I really like those kind of books. But as he says, you can't actually create a recipe or a formula for success or for happiness that will suit everybody. So in that respect, I think that was quite a key piece of wisdom or insight that I felt. He also says, just remember, the universe doesn't revolve around you. This earth wasn't created to make life comfortable for human beings. And that's why sometimes things happen that we don't want to happen, because that's just how it is. It wasn't designed with our comfort in mind, and he doesn't get religious about how it was designed in any way, but just the matter of fact is that struggle is natural. Things happen, natural disasters, personal problems, illness, sickness, bereavement, loss of a job. And the other key thing that he points out is that changing your life, if you're unhappy how you are and you want to change your life, changing your life requires commitment and intellectual effort. It's not easy. There are no easy steps to sustained happiness. But the title of the book is Flow, and the key concept that he talks about is that if we experience lots of periods of flow, then we can learn to be happier on a more sustained basis. Maybe happier isn't quite the right word, but we can be more content with our lives. We can be more at ease with the things that are happening in our lives. And it's almost the opposite of mindfulness and meditation, because they ask you to forget about things that are going on. Not forget about them, but just accept that they're happening. Whereas flow is more, and I think mindfulness asks you to be more mindful of yourself. But one of the key points of flow is that you lose your sense of self whilst you're in flow. And he talks about what's required for moments of flow. There are 8 things, so I am going to have to read these off a list. I can't remember all 8. The first one is we're so absorbed in a task that or what we're doing, that we are confident we'll be able to complete the task. But to be able to do so uses all of our concentration, all of our attention. So the second factor is that ability to concentrate. He says that you need to have a clear goal in mind when you're performing your task. You must know what you're doing. But conversely, you must be doing it just because. You're not doing it to achieve something. You're not working on a qualification to get a job. You're not working on the CV to get the job or a promotion. You're not studying or training for something to get something out of it. You're doing it just for the sake, for the pleasure of doing it. And it's fine if it does lead to something, but that's not the primary objective. That's not the reason that you're engaging in this activity. And it's also important that you get some immediate feedback about whether it's working or not. Whether you know, if you're practicing a musical instrument, for example, and you play a note and it doesn't sound right, that's immediate feedback that you didn't quite get it right, so you can try again to perfect it the next time. And then when you do get to the level that you want, you understand, you know immediately that you've achieved that. It does mean you are deeply involved in the activity and that you are removed from the frustrations of outside life, everything else that's going on in the world. And you also have a sense of control over your actions. As I said, your concern for yourself disappears, so much so that you lose track of time. You don't notice if you're hungry, you don't notice. The times when I often feel this is when I'm sitting outside pulling up weeds, because I'm so focused on that I lose track of how long I've been out there. I don't notice that I'm hungry, I don't notice that I need a drink, don't notice that it's too hot or too cold, until it gets to a point where it's really, really too cold maybe, or it's raining. If it's raining heavily, then I'd probably notice that. But you lose your sense of self. But conversely, when you finish the task, it kind of grows your sense of self. You grow from that experience. And oh yeah, I've already mentioned the last one, the loss of the sense of time. So those are the key factors that you need for flow. He talks about life these days, how we have more choice, but somehow we're less happy. And he also talks about something that he calls an autotelic personality. So some people are able to enter these moments of flow a lot more easily than others. There are sections in the book on how to use the body to get into moments of flow, how to use learning, how work can actually lead to moments of flow, and your relationships with other people, and how the meaning that you ascribe to things leads to flow. So I would say if you are interested in growing as a person, then this book is worth reading. As he said, it's not a recipe for happiness. There are no 10 steps or 7 things you need to, apart from the 8 things to be in flow, but he doesn't actually tell you how to achieve that flow. So it's more of an intellectual exercise to read this book. You might find that you enter the state of flow while you're reading it. It is quite interesting, but I have to say it can be a little hard going at times. But I think if you're interested in psychology in any way, or interested in growing as a person in any way, then I think this is a key concept that it is worth spending some time to learn more about and get to grips with, so that you can experience more of that in your own life. So that's this week's book. These are getting longer, I'm so sorry. Book in 8 minutes. That is Flow by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. I will see you next time, so until then, bye.